Just like you, I got into this field of nutrition to help people. And for me, it's become somewhat of a passionate obsession. You see, I started to learn about health and nutrition when my husband was diagnosed with a brain tumor in April of 2000 when I was just 7 weeks pregnant. And during that time, during his illness, he was given about 6 months to live, so we explored everything and anything we could do. We took a real integrative approach. We didn't leave the medicine behind, but we wanted to incorporate everything else we could think about: acupuncture, herbs, massage, and of course, nutrition. For me, that was like nutritional boot camp. And what I really learned is that no two cancers can be treated the same. So let's say you have 2 women come into your practice. Both are diagnosed with breast cancer. Both are 40 years old. They're about the same size, even the same weight. And yet, if you look more deeply, more functionally at each woman, you will see that what led to the onslaught of their cancer are different things. One could have hormonal imbalances, while the other has more of an inflammatory cascade. This is where the functional lens comes into play. We start to see each of those people as individuals and not as their diagnosis. You may have heard about functional medicine before, and functional nutrition is very much in keeping with the principles of functional medicine. According to functional medicine, we are looking at a systems approach where the patient and the physician can be in more of a partnership with each other on the journey to healing. So functional doctors you may have heard about are Mark Hyman or Jeffrey Bland or even David Perlmutter. He's a functional neurologist who recently wrote the book The Grain Brain. And this approach is something that we take into the realm of nutrition. Functional nutrition allows us to have the lens into the everyday. We eat 3 times a day at least, and we want to be thinking through this lens, this systems approach, what are all the different parts of the body, so that we can bring in the foods that are going to help the body to heal and thrive. Let me tell you about just one client of mine. Her name is Jenna, and she's 14 years old, and she has a diagnosis of Crohn's disease. When Jenna came in to see me, her gastroenterologist had told her that she would need to go on steroids and have surgery on her colon. And this is a 14-year-old girl. We don't want her to go through surgery and be on steroids for any length of time if she doesn't have to. And yet, I want to say that in functional nutrition, we are aiming to work in tandem with the client's entire team. So it's best to be working with the physicians. What I asked the family, who was very worried, is if we could have 3 months, see what we could do in 3 months to help Jenna. And by understanding through this functional and system-based approach, where I'm working in tandem, in partnership with the client, we were able to make dietary and nutritional therapy approaches that she could sustain that enabled her to move out of her symptoms. She was symptom-free. She had previously had failure to thrive. She wasn't growing, and she shot up like a weed, and she was able to perform top-notch at school. So by doing that in just a short period of time, understanding her and her life restrictions, we were able to make a significant change that helped us to stay off of the steroids and also avoid surgery, which is fantastic for the family to see that they could do and for Jenna to realize that she could control in her life. Is there someone like Jenna in your life, maybe a family member or a client or a patient who has been advised to take a certain medication or have surgery, and you're wondering if there is another approach or even something that might support them through those medical practices? This is where functional nutrition comes into play. Jenna's just one client of mine. There are thousands and thousands of people who have not been served by the current medical model who need our help. They need the help in the everyday to understand this deeper systematic approach and how to apply it to themselves through nutrition, through what they eat every single day. So let's continue this conversation about how this lens of functional nutrition applies to you and your practice.